In the Heat of the Night was a gripping drama, but the real heartbreak happened when the cameras stopped rolling. Behind the quiet streets of Sparta, Mississippi, the cast faced tragedies no script could prepare them for. Some died suddenly. Some suffered in silence. Others faded away long before the world was ready to lose them. Addiction, disease, depression, loneliness, these were the battles they fought off-screen. And today we revisit the stars we lost. The actors whose final days were filled with pain, struggle, and untold stories. This is the cast of In the Heat of the Night 1988 to 1995, Then and Now, and the truth behind their deaths will shock you. One of the most haunting stories belongs to Hugh O'Connor, the actor who played Lonnie Jameson, the young officer whose loyalty and earnest spirit made him a fan favorite. Born in Rome, Italy, and adopted by famed actor Hugh O'Connor, Hugh survived Hodgkin's lymphoma at just 16 years old. But the pain medication used in his treatment opened the door to an addiction that would follow him for the rest of his life. Even as he appeared in more than 100 episodes, he was fighting a private war no one could see. He carried the unbearable pressure of being the son of a Hollywood legend, and each relapse deepened the guilt he felt for disappointing a father who loved him fiercely. He married Angela Clayton, welcomed a son, and tried again and again to reclaim his life, but addiction is a relentless enemy. Tragically, on March 28, 1995, his third wedding anniversary, Hugh O'Connor died by suicide at the age of 32. His death shattered his family, especially his father, who would spend the remaining years of his life fighting for justice in his son's name. The loss of Hugh devastated Carroll O'Connor, who played the iconic Chief Bill Gillespie. Carroll had endured a lifetime of professional triumph and personal turmoil long before joining In the Heat of the Night. He survived the cultural firestorm of All in the Family, endured typecasting, political backlash, and the exhaustion of fame. But nothing compared to the pain of losing his only son. The grief hardened him, fueling a public crusade against the man he believed contributed to Hugh's death. Despite long-term battles with heart disease and diabetes, Carroll poured his remaining strength into advocacy and into his marriage with his lifelong partner, Nancy O'Connor, who remained by his side through every heartbreak. On June 21, 2001, Carroll suffered a fatal heart attack at the age of 76. He left behind a legacy worth more than any award, a legacy shaped by brilliance, resilience, and the love of a father who never stopped fighting for his son. Another powerful force on the show was Carl Weathers, who stepped into the role of Chief Hampton Forbes in the final seasons. Before joining the cast, Weathers was already beloved worldwide for his unforgettable portrayal of Apollo Creed in the Rocky films. But his success came with a price. Hollywood repeatedly boxed him into stereotypical roles: the muscular enforcer, the tough guy, ignoring the depth and intelligence he brought to his performances. Off-screen, Weathers endured emotional turbulence, including 3 marriages that ended in painful conflict and deep loneliness. As he aged, heart problems quietly weakened the strong physique that had defined his career, yet he refused to slow down. He found renewed success in The Mandalorian, proving himself not only as an actor but as a director. Sadly, on February 1, 2024, Carl Weathers passed away at the age of 76 from cardiovascular complications. His legacy remains monumental, his influence undeniable. The tragedy deepened with Howard Rollins, the brilliant actor behind Detective Virgil Tibbs, joining the series at 38. Rollins carried the momentum of an Oscar-nominated performance. Yet Hollywood never gave him the chances he earned. As a black actor, he faced relentless scrutiny, every slip magnified, every rumor weaponized. Crushed by pressure, loneliness, and racism, he turned to cocaine and alcohol as studios slowly pulled away. Rollins kept his personal life guarded, hiding wounds shaped by judgment and internal battles he felt he couldn't reveal. Another unforgettable presence was Lois Nettleton, who played Joanne St. John with elegance, intelligence, and emotional clarity. After decades of acclaimed work on Broadway, television, and film, Nettleton found herself facing the brutal reality of ageism in Hollywood. As roles grew scarce, the silence surrounding her career deepened. Her marriage to writer Jean Shepherd had ended long before, and she never remarried or had children. In her later years, she carried a secret battle with lung cancer brought on by decades of smoking. Despite her illness, she continued appearing at events, refusing to let the world see her weakness. On January 18, 2008, at 80 years old, Lois Nettleton passed away, leaving behind a legacy of grace and quiet strength. Among the cast was also the remarkable Pat Hingle, who portrayed Judge Roy Eversole. His life was defined by tragedy long before he arrived on the show. In 1959, Hingle fell 30 feet down an elevator shaft, suffering shattered bones and career-altering injuries. The accident robbed him of a life-changing film role and left him with chronic pain that shadowed him for the rest of his life. His marriage suffered under the emotional strain, and although he remarried later, he was forever marked by the trauma of the fall. Despite the pain, he built an impressive career in both film and television, including roles in Hang High and the Batman franchise. On January 3, 2009, at the age of 84, Pat Hingle passed away from myelodysplastic cancer. His ashes scattered into the Atlantic Ocean. He loved Chuck Hicks, who played Red Jack, carried the hardened grit of a lifelong stuntman. His work in films like Cool Hand Luke and Dick Tracy left him with countless injuries, broken ribs, torn ligaments, concussions that were brushed off as part of the job. But the pain followed him, fueling an alcohol dependency that affected his reputation within the industry. Even as opportunities faded, Hicks refused to give up his craft. On May 4, 2021, at 93 years old, Chuck Hicks died from complications after a stroke, leaving behind decades of stories carved from bravery and stubborn determination. Then there was Ted Manson. Remembered for his role as Elmer, behind his understated performances was a man who carried deep loneliness. Failed marriages left him emotionally unsettled, and alcohol became a quiet escape from the emptiness that followed him home each night. Though he found late career success in films like Talladega Nights and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, the applause faded as soon as the cameras cut. On June 1, 2008, at 81 years old, Ted Manson died from lung cancer, leaving behind a career defined by authenticity and vulnerability. The powerful presence of Fran Bennett, who played Rudy Gibson, brought authority and dignity to every scene. But behind her strength were years of depression and multiple short-lived marriages that left her feeling unwanted during her most vulnerable moments. Her world revolved around performance television, theater, and teaching, but when the COVID-19 pandemic forced isolation, the silence became overwhelming. On September 12, 2021, at 84 years old, Fran Bennett passed away, her departure leaving a profound void in the world of theater and acting. Mel Stewart, who portrayed Calvin Peterson, brought quiet intelligence to the show. But he struggled with alcohol dependency that deeply impacted his marriage and relationship with his child. He turned to teaching acting in later years, finding purpose in guiding younger performers. But Alzheimer's disease slowly began to take his memories and his identity. On February 24, 2002, at 72 years old, Mel Stewart died from complications of the disease. Slipping away from a world he once commanded with calm authority, that not all stories from In the Heat of the Night ended in tragedy. Alan Autry, remembered for his role as Captain Bubba Skinner, overcame a near-devastating battle with addiction after his football dreams collapsed. Alcohol and drugs consumed much of his 20s, but sobriety brought him clarity and purpose. His role on the show became a turning point, helping him rebuild his identity. After the series, he reinvented himself once more, serving 2 terms as mayor of Fresno. Today, at 73, he lives quietly, grateful for a second chance. David Hart, who portrayed the gentle Officer Parker Williams, stepped away from Hollywood after the show ended. Now 71, he enjoys a peaceful life in rural Georgia, surrounded by family and warm memories. Crystal Fox, known for Sergeant Luann Corbin, faced limited opportunities as a young black actress. Her persistence led to breakthroughs in The Haves and the Have-Nots, A Fall from Grace and Big Little Lies, finally giving her the spotlight she long deserved. These actors brought life, truth, and heart to In the Heat of the Night. But their real stories go far beyond the screen. They faced battles most fans never knew existed, battles with addiction, illness, loneliness, reinvention, and fate. Some overcame, some endured, some fell. But each one left a mark on television history that time will never erase. Which story moved you the most? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories from behind Hollywood's brightest lights. Thanks for watching.